Hello Guardians, it is Ebontis here. We are over here in Giant Scar on IO. Xur has arrived, it is Friday. Also, as is Friday, if some of you guys are watching this before we go live on the podcast, the Last Word podcast, our Destiny podcast, is going to be live tonight. Actually, we've got a special edition with an awesome Destiny artist, Brian Monkus. If you've seen him, we'll be live at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And Xur is supposed to be here. There he is. And let's see what he's got. Alright, so remember your exotic Engram, of course, is going to give you your chance at high stat rolls on armor, which apparently seem to be a little more nice, and give you potentially stuff that you're missing if your exotic collection isn't complete. So now let's take a look at his wares for the week. Alright, so first one we've got is the Queenbreaker. Have not seen this thing honestly sold from Xur in quite a long time, if ever. So, Queenbreaker itself is a linear fusion rifle. It's going to be a heavy weapon. And it used to be ultra broken in Gambit. It's a little tamed down now. Fires a long-range precision arc bolt that blinds enemies upon hit. So, actually it's pretty cool. Linear fusions have got a little bit of a buff. Now, using one in your exotic slot may not be the best choice, but sometimes as we have to run other things like anti-barrier and overload and unstoppable, typically a lot of primaries, you might use an exotic heavy down in the bottom. So, just an option for you. And you've got two scopes. You got the marksman sights, longer range sights with slower charge time and greater damage, displays ammo and charge levels, and then combat sights, lower zoom with faster charge time, displays ability energy. So, all in all, pretty cool weapon. If you don't have this thing, I can't think of the last time Xur has actually sold it, but I definitely would tell you, pick this thing up. For one, to complete the collection. Two, linear fusion rifles are in a better place. I don't know if this thing's still going to be epic, but it still is in a decent spot at this point. Got enhanced battery for magazine size of 5. You can see the stability is quite high as well. You've got hip fire grip if you do want to fire from the hip, more for that combat sights, or you can do quick draw if you want to switch over to it. And then, of course, fitted stock, increased stability, recoil control moderately, and slightly decreases handling speed. Biggest thing about this thing, it's a big, giant linear fusion, blind stuff on hit. So, all in all, have some fun with this thing. If you haven't tried it before, it's a pretty cool weapon. Definitely one to add to your collection if you don't have it already. For the hunters, we have the Oathkeepers. Now, bows, kind of either here nor there, depending on if you're working on quest, but you've got Adamant Brace. Bow's charge can be held indefinitely. You can hold back on that bow, basically waiting for as long as you want to release the bowstring and fire the bow. That's pretty much it. Nothing really too crazy about it, but always being able to hold back on that perfect pull is actually a good thing, depending on things like Le Monarch and stuff of that nature, to where having the perfect pull is going to get you that extra damage or that precision explosion. There are good things about the bow, and you can even use it on the new Leviathan's Breath, the heavy bow as well. So, it's pretty straightforward. Bow's charge can be held indefinitely. That's pretty much what it does. So if you do like bows and you're a hunter, this may be something for you to try out and see if you like it. Otherwise, if you're not a fan of bows, I still might add it to your collection, because really the stat roll is not amazing ever from Xur. So you could at least complete the collection, and if you're buying those exotic Engrams from Xur, you won't be getting this one instead, at least until you complete that collection. For the Titans, we have the Mark 44 stand-asides. Seriously, watch out is the perk. Grants an Overshield when you're sprinting at full health with Seismic Strike, Hammer Strike, or Shield Bash, basically anything that's a shoulder charge. Hits with these abilities recharge a portion of your melee energy. Now, they did a change to this one. The Overshield comes up quicker, actually, so when you're starting to sprint, you get your Overshield faster. And also, the recharge of your melee energy, I think, is now potentially based on the level of enemy that you hit, be it a Guardian, or a red bar enemy, or an orange bar, or a boss. Like, minor, major, and boss potentially will give you back more melee energy as well. So, all in all, if you don't have these, they're actually pretty fun to use. The shoulder charging, giving you an Overshield if you want to use that in your build as well. Kind of cool. So, again, the stat rolls from Xur, never amazing, which is always a little annoying. These are like collection completers, so you can have them try and mess around with, but not one that's going to give you an awesome stat roll. But if you want the experience of the exotic, it's still a way to have that. So, shoulder charging Titans, these are your friend for sure. Finally, we've got the Ophidian aspects. Cobra Totemic, weapons ready and reload very quickly. Melee range is extended. Now, with Season of the Worthy, the regular melee range for Warlocks was actually bumped out to 5.5 meters. These still give you the melee range of 6.5 meters. So it's still going to give you that long range, and also weapons ready and reload very quickly. People use these in PvP all the time, so if you're Warlock and you don't have these and you just want to either punch a little bit farther just to get that smidge of range, and also just have fast reloads and weapons ready and quickly, just handling is just boosted to not quite max, but it's up there. Check them out. They're actually really cool. I know quite a few people that wear them. They are very, very kind of just all-around good to use exotic for a Warlock. It's not going to give you any specifics to a subclass or anything, but just general weapon handling all the time and a boost to melee range really can't go wrong. That pretty well sums it for Xur, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed to the channel before, hit the subscription button. That helps me out quite a bit. Like the video if you did enjoy it. Drop a comment below if you have thoughts about any of these exotics. Always curious how people use these in different builds. And as I said, the Last Word podcast will be live tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, live on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Ebontis. You can follow me there, follow me on Twitter, but thank you guys. Hopefully enjoy your weekend. Kick some button trials out there. If you see me, please be nice. I don't know how much I'll be in trials, but we will see. Have a good one. I'll see you soon.